Okay, I'm going to walk through a couple problems that students have struggled with. So here we have an employee who has a salary and tips, and they tell us that the person's married with 2 exemptions and they pay 2% tax. So this is weekly, and so we calculate out their gross pay for the week, $625, and it tells us that they're married with 2 exemptions. So we're going to go to those tax tables, and when they tell us the exemptions, that means that we are down in those 2019 and earlier. If we keep going down, we see when we get into those W-4s, that's where we have the exemptions. So then this person is weekly, which again, pay attention to your titles. So it's weekly, and they're married, and they have 2 exemptions. So 625 then is between the 2 brackets, and again, 2 exemptions. So that is the $14. So that's, let me flip back over there. Is that what I got? Yeah, so that's what I have. So go with the lower one, and I believe that's what the textbook wants us to do. Again, you get like 6 check my works. If that would ever be off, then try the next one, because again, it's either $14 or $15, but I think the textbook's having us go with the lower one. Then you calculate the Social Security. So look at my formula. I've taken my gross pay times the 6.2%, then the Medicare, my gross pay times the 1.45%, and then the state, my gross pay times 2%. So then these are all of the withholdings, but remember with this particular one, the tips are already home. The person already collected those tips. They took them home with them. So then all the employer has is their salary. So then you want to take their salary and subtract the withholdings. And then that will give you their take-home pay. So again, just don't forget the tips are already home. If this was a regular person with no tips, then you would just take their gross pay and subtract those withholdings. And again, we're in the 2025 textbook for this video, and then we're always using the tax tables a year behind, because the IRS is not ever on top of that, where those could be published in the same textbook. We're always a little delayed, so you're always a year behind. So, and again, I don't always update these videos, so know that if you're in, like, so say you're watching this and it's 2027 textbook, we're going to be in the 2026 tax tables. We're always a year behind. But the process is the same in how we do these things. That's why I don't always update the videos. Okay, then another question was on, well, how do I make this W-3? So they give me the information on this employee who's paid weekly. They do give us the the total year Social Security, Medicare, state, local income tax, and the unemployment tax. What they want us to do is go back to the tax tables and find his tax. So in this one, it is the 2020 or later. So again, going back to those tax tables, the 2020 or later is the first one. So we go back up to the top. We look, okay, so here's 2020 or later. It's weekly, so that's what I'm at. This person is single, right? He's single and he makes $885 a week. So again, back to the tax tables. We make sure we're in weekly, and then we find the single column. So single's over there to the right. And then we go down to 885, and we find 885, and then we carry it over. So it would be either $67 or $69. And again, I believe they want us to go with the lower amount. So 67 times 52 weeks gives us an annual withholding of $3,484. All of his gross wages are going to be the $885 times 52 weeks, so $46,020 is his gross wages. So this is a picture. I can't fill it in. When you're doing your homework, you should be able to fill it in. But the $46,020 is going to go into box 1, box 3, box 5, go down, and then our box 16 and 18. Now, if there was ever like a pension or a 401k that they're contributing to, that is not subject to federal income tax. So then your box 1 would be less that 401k or pension contribution. The other boxes would all still be the same. If this person made $2,000 a week, maybe more than that, they made $2,500 a week, then your Social Security wages are going to be at the limit. So these boxes don't all have to be the same. They are normally for, again, like lower and middle income type people, again, unless they have a 401k. So just, again, pay attention to those, maybe jot down those rules that, again, if they're higher earners, box 3 is going to be the annual limit. If they have a pension or a 401k, some sort of retirement, box 1 is going to be reduced by those. But you do want to understand how to do these W-2s. I mean, they'll be on your test, they'll be in your project. So it is important to kind of know how to map and walk through those.